Ready. So let's go ahead and call to order the Planning Commission for Wednesday, April 23rd. Start with the roll call.
Chair Lane,
Here.
Commissioner Lugers,
Here.
Commissioner Levison,
Here.
Commissioner Tonelli,
Here.
and Commissioner Polito is absent.
Yes, authorized. He mentioned it beforehand. Okay, great. We have a couple of items that are coming up, but before we start with the public comment section in the Planning Commission meeting, the public comment section is for items that aren't on the agenda. Sometimes people come up and tell us about an item that we might want to look into, or an issue we might want to look into, or give us an update on something that we ready, or every once in a while they come up and say what a great job we're doing. So I'll go ahead and open the public comment section for individuals who want to talk about something not on the agenda. I'll open the public comment section. Anybody online? Nobody's online for a comment, right? Right.
No non-agenda public comments online.
Right, great. Are there people online? I don't see them. John? There are? Okay, good. All right, then I'll pull up my iPad here so I can see. All right, I'll go ahead and close the public comment section, and we'll go ahead and go to the public hearing items. There are two items on public hearing. We'll do the procedures the same on both. If anyone comes in or comes online, I'll go over the procedures so everybody's on the same page. What we're going to do is we'll always start with an overview from a staff member. Then the commission will ask questions that they come up with to the staff. Then we'll open the public comment section. We'll start with either the applicant or their representative. And then we'll close the public comment section and bring it back to the commission for discussion and action as appropriate. That'll happen on both items. And if I repeat it again, you already know the outcome. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the item for consideration of tree protection zone exception on 99 Edwards Lane. Got this one. All right, you got it. And we got a presentation that you put together, right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, we've got a copy of it. We just handed out a copy of it.
Hello, I'm here to present a tree protection zone exception for 99 Edwards Lane. I guess you can go next slide. Oh, Michael. Yeah. Thank you. So staff recommends to the Planning Commission that the Planning Commission approve the tree protection zone exception request to be at 6 times from 2 different coast live oaks. One is a 26-inch, and that they're proposing the pool equipment building be within 6 times of that one. And the other is a 30-inch coast live oak where they're proposing a detached garage. Next slide, please. A little bit background. So Edwards Lane is a cul-de-sac, a spur off of Atherton Avenue, just south of El Camino Real. And this property, 99 Edwards, sits at the end of that cul-de-sac. It's a vaguely square-shaped lot, though it has a little bit of a little divot there in the north corner that was ceded to the property next door, which shares common ownership, and that was done through a lot line adjustment last year. Otherwise, it's a roughly acre lot, 177 at the short end, 222 feet at the long end, and then the depth is 206 feet. It's a generally flat lot, though the Atherton Channel runs in the rear through a swale, and that's represented by a 20-foot easement. It's in the R1A zoning district, and the lots that are surrounding are mostly irregular shaped, though they vary from acre to one of them's even 2.5 acres. So the entire neighborhood is odd shaped lots. Next slide, please. So the project description, right now on the lot, there's a pool house being proposed, an addition remodel to the main residence, and a generator. But the 2 items that are underlined at the bottom are what are relevant to the tree protection zone exception. There's a pool equipment building located in what's shown on the site plan in the top right corner. It's going to be located over the footprint of an existing pool equipment shed. It will only expand just by a little bit, and the entire building is only set to be 80 square feet. And in the bottom there, which is the side property line, there's a detached garage proposed, which will have vehicle space as well as storage space. Existing on the lot is a 5,837 square foot main residence with an attached garage, a pool, and a pool equipment building. And these other projects are, some of them have been approved, I believe the pool house. The rest are still in the review process. And the pool equipment building and detached garage pending any commission decision are otherwise approved by building and planning. Next slide, please. So the pool equipment building is proposed to be 6 times the diameter at breast height of tree 19, which is a coast live oak. It's on 99 Edwards, the subject property. It's 26 inches in diameter. The project arborist denoted the tree is a fair health and good structure. Fair health is just one step above the exceptional, and then good structure is the top rated for tree structure. Next slide, please. And the detached garage is proposed to be 6 times from a 30-inch coast live oak, which is located on the adjacent property at 80 Edwards Lane. And just like the other one, it's also in fair health and good structure. Next slide, please. So the applicant rationale for approval from the Planning Commission is that the TPZ encroachment, going within 10 times the diameter of breast height of both trees, are relatively minimal and much less than what's recommended of maximum for the health of the tree. Existing site conditions, like I said earlier, the pool equipment building is being built mostly on the existing footprint, and it's even expanding just a little bit, but away from the subject tree. And for the detached garage, there's already an existing masonry wall between the tree and the proposed detached garage, which they believe over the years have likely stopped roots from growing in that direction. So the potential impact to the roots may be minimal. The project arborist also, can you go to the original slide, please? Thank you. The project arborist did exploratory trenching around the site of the proposed detached garage and found that there were no significant roots from tree 44 or other trees in the area. They found only a few roots and none of them were over 1 inch in diameter. Next slide, please. Town arborist concurs with the rationale of the applicant and the project arborist, and that the trees are in fair health and good structure, and the potential impact to the roots would be minimal. The existing site conditions with the pool equipment building and the trenching around the garage, proposed garage, show that there isn't too much risk for detriment to the health of the trees. And as long as they take the necessary precautions, the trees should be able to be healthy in the future. As well, Sally did go to the site to view the exploratory trenching, and she recommends approval. And in her memo, which is included as an attachment, as well in the staff report, you can read the conditions that she put on that approval. Sally would like to add anything she may hear.
Yeah, as Jerry said, I visited the site and I found no significant roots. The applicant worked with the town to submit the best submittal they can. And the redwood tree on the neighbor's site has good construction. It has a good rating for construction impact. And I felt like with no major roots found, and that being really the only location for a garage on the site. If they tried to put a garage in another location, they would have to build an additional driveway and they have to work around other trees. So this is the most ideal situation for a garage. And for all those reasons, I can approve the 6 times for both trees.
Great.
One question for Sally. Tree 44, I guess there was the trenching that was there. I'm taking that you knew about that and that was approved and everything.
Yeah, I suggested they do the exploratory trenching, which is all supposed to be done by hand. And there were only just some very small roots in the trenching, so they covered that in pretty quickly. And there's no issue there. Yeah, I approve the exploratory trenching.
And just for my own, I guess, edification, that tree 19 is really a beautiful tree in a great spot, and just want to make sure that that reduction of TPZ is okay with that, because it looks like just a beautiful tree.
I felt just because of the existing pool equipment, that it would be fine to put it back or even a little bit closer to the same location.
Right.
If they moved it to another location, they might have to do additional trenching
Right.
and additional, so they would be impacting something else rather than just continuing impacting that tree, yeah.
Yeah.
But it is a nice tree.
Thank you.
Else?
No.
All right, we'll go ahead and open the public comment section for the applicant, or representative who's on the phone.
So for this project, if you're online, please raise your hand so I unmute the correct.
Are you guys in the room? Oh, are you this side? Oh, good, good. All right.
Never mind.
Would you call in, please? Go- go.
My name is Wiley Anderson. My wife is there. We feel the request is reasonable and we appreciate the report that was written. It's like it represents things well. So I'm just here to answer questions.
Questions?
We met with you,
We
so
met you,
yeah.
we met you, we met with you when we were on the property.
Yes,
Right.
of course.
Yeah. Okay, all right, no questions? Nothing? All right, great, great presentation. Yeah. You can put your 75 slides away. All right, so then anyone else here to speak on this item? Anyone online raising their hand? All right, then I'll go ahead and close the public comment section and we'll bring it back for discussion action with the commission.
Well, the only question I had was on tree 44 and the property line. Do we need to hear from the neighbor at all, or is that of any concern to them from where that tree is located? Because I wasn't even sure by looking at it if it was actually on Wiley's property or not. So I was just wondering if,
It is a neighbor's tree and this gets noticed 500 feet to every property owner surrounding within 500 feet. And we didn't get any notices from the neighbor for or against it. So
Yeah, I-
typically we get something against, if they're against it, typically we definitely get something from the neighbor, so.
Okay.
So I don't know, what we talked to Wiley, you got a chance to meet with the neighbor?
No, so I requested-
Come back up here and I'll open the public comment section again. All right, okay, I'll open the public comment. Okay. Okay, all right, great.
thank you.
Great.
Yeah,
thank you.
we
But she
we
was
both-
noticed. We were both there.
Yeah, we were both there and we just want to make sure that she was contacted.
Okay,
But she hasn't been well, she might not have noticed.
okay.
That's why it's important to outreach. All right, very good. All right, thank you. I'll go ahead and close the public comment section again. I'll bring it back for action or not.
To me, it looks like it's, fairly straightforward, and I like the fact that Sally has approved it and gotten her stamp of approval with her examination, so I'd be willing just to make a motion.
All right, go ahead,
Okay.
make a motion.
I move that the planning commission approve the tree protection zone exception permit TTP Z 25-00002 at 99 Edwards Lane for the reasons described in the draft tree protection zone exception permit certificate and categorically exempt from the project from the provisions of CEQA under AMC section 15.32.100 and CEQA section 15304 minor alterations to land.
I'll second.
All right, moved and seconded. Any comments or
No.
anything else? Okay, then, since everyone's here that's going to vote, I'm going to just go by, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? None, and abstain? None. All right, 4-0, it passes. Thank you. And thank you for doing the outreach so that we can get that, make sure that everyone is updated. And I hope she feels better. All right, thank you. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
Thank you
taking
very
us on the
much.
tour too. That was good.
Yes, thank you. That was very helpful.
All right, cool. All right. The next item is a request for a tree removal of 5 Coast Live Oak heritage trees on the address, hold on.
170 Atherton.
Yeah,
170
there it
Atherton
is, 170 Atherton. I was looking all the place for it was there, but I didn't remember the address. 170 Atherton? Go through the same process? Is somebody online for this?
Yes,
Yeah, okay, good. So we'll go ahead and start with the staff. Brittany, are you on this one?
yes.
All right,
Good
good.
evening, Commissioners. Brittany Bendix, Town Planner. Michael here is going to bring up a presentation. It's very brief, just going over the staff report. So this is for a heritage tree removal or the removals at 170 Atherton. Next slide.
So it's two lots, right?
It was 2 lots.
And then it was combined.
Now it's 1.
Yeah, because it looked, the way it's set up right now, it's like the development's basically happening on 170 and then nothing else like I can see planned over on the other side.
Not currently.
Yeah.
So our recommendation tonight is actually somewhat split. And I'll get into the nuances of that as I go through the presentation. Staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve the removal request of 4 heritage trees and deny the removal request for 1 coast live oak, which is referred to as tree number 3, and I'll get into that. Next slide, please. So as Chair Lane was raising, this was previously part of a subdivision or a lot split in 2024 that was approved both at the Planning Commission and the City Council level. It's kind of jumping ahead to my last bullet point there on this slide. Backing up a little bit, now the site for 170 Atherton, the remaining site is 3.99 acres, just under 4. It's pretty square and flat, nothing irregular there. R1A zoning. There was the 2024 approved lot split. And now what we're seeing is subsequent development coming in for this particular site with demo and new construction of a single family home and ancillary buildings. The site itself has 63 coast live oaks and approximately 138 trees of various species. And then in 2024, as part of the lot split application, the town arborist, Sally Benz, who's here with us, did approve at the staff level the removal of 12 heritage trees.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because it looks a little more open than these numbers when I went up the property. So go ahead.
I
yeah.
would never have guessed there were that many
Yeah,
trees. removed.
I would not have either. It seems much less dense than that, but also there could be a lot of small trees that were already removed because there was a big open area where the construction was going right now. All right, go ahead.
Next slide. So this is a diagram showing the location of the removal requests. Trees number 17 and number 19 are at the left of the image here. The removal request is related to insurance challenges submitted by the applicant. There's also a potential safety hazard that's confirmed by the town arborist herself. The health of the trees is also in question, and so therefore these removals are supported by the town arborist. Trees number 23 and number 93 are within the buildable area, and you can see overlap the location of the main building. There's also some alternative locations and relocations that were explored here, but the town arborist concurred that those would have impacts on other trees on the property and that there's also potential safety hazards. So those are also supported by town arborists. And one of the things that I've left in front of you tonight is a printed letter from the applicant who's here to speak on this project. There were 2 letters submitted by the applicant. Only one was included in the staff report. So I've shared with you earlier today by email the second one, and then also printed a copy here. Really, the substance of those letters focuses on the justification for these 4 trees. Next.
Okay.
Oh.
So explain, Candy and I did this one together. There's a building on the back proposed, on the very back of the driveway. That's like a shed, workshop or
Yeah.
something.
2,400
Yeah.
square feet.
So, and why is that located back there? Is there a specific reason? Was it avoiding anything, or was it just proximity to the home, or what was it?
I would defer that to the applicant
Okay.
in terms of why they chose that specific location and the design choices that they've made.
Was the property next door an SB9 property? Because there were like 4 major buildings, 2 major living residences there, and a bunch of garage space and pool house things. And
I don't believe so, but I can look that up
all right,
quickly. as
good.
we-
I have a question about that, about proximity in terms of view lines and things like that, because the back room, right to what is planned to be their living room. So we'll talk more about that when
Sure.
Anything else then?
Next slide. So the relocation tree request for tree number 3, this one's, I think, where there's a little bit of an impasse between staff and the applicant, and we could use some guidance from the planning commission more directly. Really, the justification from the applicant is that this limits the driveway accessibility. The town arborist, however, does not support this removal. Technically, relocation is tantamount to a removal, so that's why even though it's proposed as a relocation, I'm referring to it as a removal. Since the town arborist was working with the project team in 2024, they've paid special attention to this tree to bring up the health of the tree. And so now there's concerns that relocating the tree just as the health has improved will cause potential damage and deterioration of the tree. There's also some considerations relative to could this removal be, or the need to relocate the tree be avoided through an alternative driveway path. That was referred to in the staff report, and I got a question relative to what the image in the staff report was showing. So I've enhanced that a little bit by overlaying a potential driveway alternative on the image that's in front of you to just kind of drill down what the intent with that comment was. However, if the planning commission does agree that the relocation should be approved, staff is asking that they add a condition relative to maintaining the health of the tree in perpetuity, or well, not in forever, but as long as it should normally live, that the appraised value of the tree times 2 would be the fine in the case of the tree dying within 5 years. That would be indicative of the removal not, or the relocation not going according to plan. Next slide.
Before you leave that,
Sure.
was there any view of connecting the drive with, making it a loop with the one driveway entrance or not?
No, that wasn't considered. I think the secondary driveway is just to access the workshop, and not really access the main house. But that's a good question for the applicant.
Okay, I'll do that. All right.
So then the next slide.
Well, can
Oh,
I ask
sorry.
about the condition of tree number 3?
Sure.
Of all the trees that we looked at, that was the one that looked the worst. So, to me anyway, so like 19 looked okay to me. I mean, it wasn't the right tree, but it was, but what's the story, Sally, on 3?
So tree 3 was in poor shape, but they've done a program for all of the trees on the site. Irrigating, taking away the irrigation. So this was originally a 7-acre lot, and it was, I've been there a few times in the last 10 years, and it had a lot of lawn throughout the whole site. It felt like a park, but the over irrigation of
Yeah.
the lawn caused
killed-
all of the oaks to suffer.
Right.
So this property owner has spent a lot of time and money on trying to save as many of the trees on this property. And so that was one of the trees they were trying to save. And in their opinion, the tree is doing better than it was previously.
If-
So,
if- This isn't totally relevant, but when I walked the property, they were putting down irrigation tubes around oak trees.
that could be just for drip, or it could be for something else.
I was just surprised by it, but
They were doing watering when we were there, but it wasn't overwatering. It was just like,
But this could be, yeah, that type of watering is a lot different than the
Right.
irrigation for the lawn.
right,
Um,
Yeah.
Especially if they've done fertilization and they've done radial trenching, they've done a lot of work out there.
yeah,
And so the 12 trees I previously approved were ones that were either dead or in really poor condition.
Right.
And so there are still some that are struggling, but they're really trying to save as many, the property owner wants to save as many trees as possible. So.
it's good. All right, that makes sense then. All right, yeah, I didn't quite understand why. Okay, any other questions of staff?
Regarding that tree 3, I mean, if there is, so am I looking at this right? There's an intended path near that tree as well, or is that the existing path?
No, there's no there's no path right there currently, either on the left side or the right side of the tree. The left side path is the one, the driveway that they're proposing.
Yeah, the one
Um,
along the fence on the left side, that's
Goes
Mhm.
all the way down that
all new.
fence.
And we're recommending or just giving a suggestion, the orange path, why they couldn't just go around the tree and preserve the tree as located there.
That orange path doesn't have much of a turn radius
Yeah. I
on the
was looking at
second
that.
turn. If you brought in a truck there,
Yeah.
it might be an issue.
That was just a suggestion. We would
Yeah.
obviously have their architect work
Right.
out a solution.
Right.
But that was just to say, hey, have you considered this rather than just removing a tree for a secondary driveway?
Yeah, okay. Let's hear from the applicant, then we'll have more questions because
Thank you.
that was my concern on that. All right. Any?
So I believe the
other que-
applicant is here with us online. Henry
What?
Shao, or
They're
the
online.
applicant is online.
All right, very good. So I'll go ahead and open the public comment section. We'll start with the applicant or the representative. And that's fine. All right. Go ahead and introduce yourself and
Good evening. My name is Henry Xiao. I'm the project architect.
hi, Henry.
Hi. Hold on, let me see if I can turn on the. Okay, it's disabled. Yeah, just briefly, I have my project manager and the owner rep, Gary Steven. He is on the phone, on the line, for the answer also. The question that I think I'm gonna jump right to the question that you posed. For the workshop, the location is basically, this is from the program that we have through the owner, and they have do some their workshop and art collection, and these all will be in the adjacent close by to their main residence. This is how they require, and that building will form a kind of nice entry, arrival court to the building entry. That is purposely try to position the location. And because it's the nature is one-story structure, so I don't think they will pose any visual impact to the site.
All right.
Okay.
How
And
comfortable are you with the ability to move the tree?
say it again.
How comfortable are you with the ability to move tree 3?
I think we explore that alternative on some of the exhibit that we show you, and either it will impact on the building. You will become too close to the main house, or you will have the other functional issue in terms of the owner's program.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about with the notion of moving tree 3 so that the driveway can go in the designated spot that's on the map. The original request.
Yeah, I think,
How-
yeah.
How comfortable are you that that tree could be effectively moved?
The tree proposed with original proposed to relocate.
Yes, but
You can, yeah.
yes, how comfortable are you that a relocation would be successful?
I think this answer, the question is to my arbors, and unfortunately he cannot make it tonight.
Okay,
I think it's in the recommendation later that sent to the city with the arbors report with all the suggestion with
okay, all right, that's what I need to know.
yeah.
All right, anything else?
Well, on the tree number 3, I think, yeah, the city do recommend some of the alternate driveway location, and we talk about that during our team meeting with the owner, and I think this is mainly for service size. So one of your commissioner mentioned about the turning radius, that is true. And then the other thing is if we pour the driveway entrance to the closer to the center, that will be kind of in the adjacent proximity to the existing entrance, making complete, that kind of it's not intent. So we would prefer to stay on the original proposed location.
All right. Right. Any questions? All right. Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak on this item?
I believe the applicant is online if you have any questions, but he hasn't indicated any active comments.
All right. So we might come back to him. Yes, Brittany?
I just wanted to add that you had asked about the neighboring properties, if those are SB9 lot
Right.
splits. They were actually the 2 lots created from the lot split that this lot was part of. And they are not, it's not an SB9. Remember that this is nearly 4 acres, so
Yeah.
it looks disproportionate.
Yes.
But those are both 1 acre lots.
Yeah,
And if you wanted to see the map, I can bring that up.
No, that's all right. I just was surprised that I didn't think of it as an SB9 property, but it looked like 2 different living situations there. And then just to be clear, what's happening to the other portion of this? There's gonna be a fence now down this property on one side that is the 150 property is gonna be fenced off. Is that how it's gonna work? So 179 is gonna be,
It's 178 and 170.
all right, 178, 170.
And so there will be, as required for any new construction, there will be a landscape fencing, landscape screening requirement
Okay, and then.
along the property line.
All right, very good. And just for the landscape architect on the applicant, definitely something would need to be done to screen the view from the next door property to that open living room area. It's going to be glass on both sides of the living room. And right now it's a straight shot through that. You'll be able to see the other side of the yard through the living room. So somebody might either that or put up signage, don't wear your pajamas in here. So it's just, it's one of those things where the design of the home may not have considered what the next door neighbor's design is. So just be aware. Do they own both properties? Okay, well, interesting. Okay, all right. There's no one else to speak on this item, so I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment section and bring it back to the commission for discussion and action.
So I had as it stands right now, after the removal of the dead trees, there are 63 coast live oaks on the property. Is that correct? In addition to all the other trees.
I can only speak to heritage trees, which are trees over 15 inches diameter. If it's not over 15 inches diameter, they can remove it and we don't get notified.
But in the application here, it
Yes.
says there's 63 coast live oaks, correct?
Yes, yep.
And they still exist. They haven't been removed.
Not that we're aware
Okay.
of.
It didn't look as dense trees as
They
on
were
this
along
one.
around the edges of the
Yeah,
property.
right.
So they're all around the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed, this area was
It's a big piece of-
more open. It's on the map. All right, well, I don't have a problem with with the original request on the driveway, frankly. Of all the trees, I'm glad I passed my amateur arborist view that tree 3 was not that healthy a tree because it looked of all the trees on the property, it looked the worst to me.
It did. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
And I don't see any reason.
Yeah, I don't either. So here's the thing on that is that other than the fact that we try to save a tree all the time, would we rather have a new tree that looked better to start than that one or not? Sally, what do you think? Is it better to start with a new tree that's really healthy or is it try to save that one?
I mean, at this point, I do think they want to relocate it. I
Okay.
mean, they are gonna be purchasing large trees, but it's, hard to just have a large tree
If
that's
they can
already
have the
like
option,
that.
because
Right.
the penalty if that dies is.
Well, see, here's the thing is that
outsized.
I'd be comfortable saying you can move it if you want to, but I don't agree with penalty. So,
Yeah.
so that way they'll, if they decide to move it and that dies, then they're gonna have expense of buying a new tree anyway. So as long as there's a tree eventually, either if it dies, then they replace it. That's the only penalty I would say, but not a double. It's kind of where I am.
I mean, they're already planting a lot of trees. They already have a replanting plan.
Yeah.
So at this point, I think they would say, well, where are they gonna put all these additional trees if
Right.
it dies?
Right.
So it's up to you.
Yeah, well, if they go ahead and move that tree, they're gonna have a spot for a tree. Right? So if we say that we would authorize them, the attempt to move that tree, the only thing that I would say is if you move the tree and it dies, then wherever you had that tree moved, replace it. I mean, if we're, otherwise,
Hard to, it will be hard to, because if they don't need to apply for a tree removal application, it's gonna be hard for me to track,
right.
uh,
Well, so here's,
hard for me to track if the,
yeah, so here, the question I have then is, if we say move the tree, then they are gonna move the tree, right?
You could just approve it as a straight
Yeah.
removal, and if they want to try relocating
Okay.
it
Yeah,
I think.
and they're
that's just
unsuccessful,
Yeah,
at
that's-
least the way that it's framed and the absence of the condition
Right.
gives them some flexibility to
Yeah.
not do it successfully.
That's good. Yeah, I just wouldn't want somebody to really move the tree to kill it. But that's too much expense anyway, so that's a limit there. Okay.
So if we're looking at the motions, we have three alternatives here. We have one to approve the removal of the 4 and deny tree 3. We have another one for the approval of removing the 4 and relocating tree 3. Or we can deny all 5, but we don't have one to approve removal of all.
That was because if I gave you every single possible permutation of
Yeah.
motion, you'd
It'd be a
be
big.
frustrated with the amount of paper.
But we
So
can
what I
make
would
that motion.
It
recommend
would require one less
is
tree to
working
cut down.
off of the first one.
Okay, I'll just say 5. So
And
I can make a move. if-
Yes,
All
right, right.
I move that the planning commission approve the heritage tree removal permit HTR 24-002 at 170 Atherton Avenue for the removal of 5 coast live oak trees, number 17, number 19, number 23, number 93, and number 3.
Right,
Second.
seconded? Right, everybody okay? No comments on that? No? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none, and abstain, none. So there we go. That's good, and that should be the best alternative for that. So that means the other gate on the other end is going to be the opening for the other house, I guess. Because it'll be one more gate along that street. The ingress, egress, they'll start looking like El Camino Real if you get more entry. Yeah. Okay. So with that then, staff reports, Brittany, you got something for us?
yeah, I have a few.
All right, good.
Town planner Brittany Bendix. The first thing I'd like to do is introduce Tom Ford. Who's our senior planner stepping in for Rada, who's no longer with Group or the town of Atherton. So he is shadowing Michael tonight to pick up the planning commission clerk duties. And you'll see him more in that role before then he starts stepping in for me if I'm out for a planning commission hearing. Tom, you may recognize him from the housing element meetings. He was substantial in drafting the multifamily zoning code.
Yeah, the three of you were for us, but he brought in different alternatives of things would look, densities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The next thing that I want to talk to you about is on April 3rd, I attended a city council workshop on goal setting and team building for the city council members. And one of the things that came up was kind of refocusing and rewording some of the goals that they've published previously. So I've printed out a copy of how that was published in the most recent city council meeting. It was part of the monthly reports, which is another item I just wanted to highlight and make sure that you're aware of. Every city council meeting, one of the first items listed in the agenda is a report that's put out by the city manager that compiles an update or report from all areas of the town and the progress staff is making towards the work plan that the city manager has drafted under the lens of those goals. So tonight I've printed out the first page of the monthly report so you can kind of get a sense of the type of information that was included in the April update. And then on the back side of that is the updated goals, just kind of the high level. And I can send you a link to it by email so you can dive into the weeds if you'd like to. And my third and final item is just I wanted to give you an update on the situation at 5 Colado, which was the item at last month's hearing, where during the hearing it became evident that they had already started work. Our code enforcement officer, Lisa Marie, issued a verbal immediate stop work order that night. The staff then checked up on it the next day. Sally went out there on Monday when she was available the following Monday, and it became evident that not only had they deterred from the conditions that Sally had set forth in the Z request, but they had additionally damaged other trees that they weren't even supposed to be near. So as part of that, that's staying more as a code enforcement item right now. They are issuing a penalty of $41,800 based on tree number 1, which was the tree that came before you for the TPZ request. They will likely have double permitting costs for whatever the permits are associated with that. And then Sally is also asking for quarterly arborist reports for the next 3 years to document the health of those trees moving forward. So that's, at this point, we're not anticipating any need for it to come back to the Planning Commission, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on what the enforcement looked like after the fact.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. And this, I like this because we've had incidents where people go, oops, I didn't realize that I should have had a permit to chop down a tree or to do that. And so it's important that it gets out that it's a mistake not to follow procedure on this, because it's just a bad neighbor policy not to make sure people understand what's going on. So I appreciate the update and I appreciate the
Well,
follow through on it.
And this was a situation where staff supported the request.
Right.
We thought it was kind of an easy project,
Yeah.
to be honest. And the owner got hasty, asked their contractor to start work early. They did that. And now there's still a stop work order on the property. So we're another planning commission beyond even that consideration, and they can't touch the site.
Very
So
good.
they'll have to pay the fine for us to release the stop work order.
All right, good. All right, thanks. And they can appeal that to them. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, anything else?
No?
I had something on the commission report, so I'll just bring you something up for putting on the table on SB 9. So a neighbor near me said, hey, there's a property down the street that is apparently is going to be split. And I believe that the split is already been approved, but it hasn't been. But also the person doing the split, developer and not the owner. And so then I contacted Brittany and we're investigating whose name is on it and whether they're like an employee of the developer or a new. But it brought up a whole list of questions around SB 9 operational integrity.
Mhm.
Like, for example, at what point does a person, is the person the designated owner of the property that has to be there for 3 years? At what point does a person say, yeah, I'm going to be there for 3 years, and then, oh, shoot, I sold the property after I did that, and I just happened to be a developer that was there and then did, so there's all kinds of little, well, now we
Mhm.
get to the gameship going, how you actually use an SB 9 properly. And then the question is, what is the penalty if those things are followed properly? Don't know what the penalty is. The state didn't outline that. And if we took action to make the penalty, then do we get in trouble for trying to look like we're not allowing?
Trying to legislate it.
Yeah, well, we're also not allowing the lot splits to create
I
more
see.
housing.
Right.
So there's this whole, it gets convoluted with housing plan and SB 9 and the agreement on 3 years and how does that all work? And there's not a thing outlined from the state to do that, and we haven't outlined it here either. So you know, Brittany's talking to a lawyer and investigating this one situation, to make sure we understand it as a case study in how we would move forward.
It's a good catch.
It, you know, my neighbor, it happens to be next door to the neighbor, she's kitty. And we had seen it, and now that there's a family, sign in front of it, and apparently that's applied for but not approved, or approved. It's applied for, not approved. So now we're going to see if the house is gone tomorrow. So, so I'll keep you updated on that one,
Thank
but
you.
it also puts on the radar screen this whole operational management story. All right, that's all I had. All right, any other commission reports?
Nope.
All right, always the slowest item on the agenda, item 6. I need a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
There we go.
Moved and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're out of here. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you for being here.